Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to PBA at Noon. I'm Paul Benwell, and that was Sophie Caesar, my colleague. Today, we have invited the whole Hawkmoon Resources team to join with us. We have the CEO, Branden Haynes, we have the VP of Exploration, Thomas Clarke, and we have the VP Investor Relations, Clémence Bertrand. Many of you already know Hawkmoon, but for those of you new to this story, they are a mining exploration company focused on Quebec-based properties. They currently trade on the CSE under the symbol Harry Mary, HM. We really want to make today about getting to know Hawkmoon and the people behind the company. So I'll let them get right into the presentation, and then we can open the floor for questions. If you feel comfortable asking your questions live, just raise your hand on the bottom of your screen and you can ask your question. Welcome, Clémence, Tom, and Branden. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Please feel free to start whenever you're ready, and we will have some questions for you later.
Excellent. Thank you very much. On behalf of PBA and Sophie Caesar and the group, we want to say we appreciate the opportunity. So here's our presentation for this month. Next slide, please. Forward-looking statements. Next slide. Excellent. So a bit about Hawkmoon, as Paul had already alluded to, we are a Canadian gold exploration company. We're focused on identifying and acquiring, developing undervalued projects within Quebec. So we feel it's a great province that's very supportive of mining investment. Our vision is to create shareholder value by advancing greenstone belt properties in Quebec. And our company management has 80 years of experience in capital markets, mineral exploration, and development. Next slide.
So why Quebec? So as the CEO of Osisko Mining said, Quebec is one of the best mining jurisdictions on the planet. And we could not agree more with that statement. In fact, Quebec is ranked the fourth best mining jurisdiction worldwide by the Fraser Institute, which is quite a recognition. In addition of that, Quebec government is mining friendly and accepts flow through shares. So for those who are not familiar with FTS, it allows investors to deduct from their personal income the money junior mining companies, such as Hawkmoon, spent on exploration in Canada. Finally, Quebec has a history of producing over 100 mines and 170 million ounces of gold. And we believe the province has still a lot to offer to mining companies and their investors, which made it an easy choice for us. So let's talk about our overall strategy. Hawkmoon has 3 significant projects, 2 of which are located in the Abitibi greenstone belt, Abitibi gold belt, and the third one is located in the Belterre gold camp. Our VP of exploration, Thomas Clarke, which is here today, has identified multiple deposits during this career, and he is a proven finder of gold. Our company is also focused to limit dilution on managing effectively this capital and doing continuous work program and updates over the next several months.
Excellent. Thank you, Clémence. Our management and directors, myself, I've been in the finance industry for 20 plus years. My biggest success in mining was working with Mine Finders, MFL, on the TSX. They had a project in Sonora, Mexico that turned into quite a significant deposit and was acquired by Goldcorp for about $15 a number of years ago. So I've seen the ups and downs of the mining market, and I absolutely love it. I feel it's the backbone of Canada. Our geologist, Thomas Clarke, a master's degree. He's had university in both Canada and in South Africa. He's worked for many companies. His biggest success in Quebec, of course, was Cartier Resources. He coordinated all the exploration that led to the definition of an NI 43-101 compliant resource of 1 million ounces. And that's very significant. We're excited to be working closely with him and look to be seeing similar success down the road. Our CFO is Jeff Balderson, well connected within the industry, was a broker in the past, and he runs our corporate services as well as helps manage a lot of the financings. Our next slide. Clémence is our newest member of the team, VP of Investor Relations, Masters in Economics, fantastic lady to work with. On top of that, she brings in a depth of translation between French and English for us, as well as opening up new channels and communication with the Quebec province. Hugh Oswald, our director, is excellent for communications. He has a good background in economics as well as finance, and he's worked closely with us for many years.
Well, hello. This shows the location of our projects in the province of Quebec. The large green piece on the map is the Abitibi greenstone belt, where two of our three projects are located. Further to the south is the recently acquired lava, and that's in another gold camp just to the south called Belterre. Next slide, please. The main project we've announced in April is the Wilson project. Its location is excellent. To infrastructure, it's only 15 kilometers from a small mining town, La Belle-sur-Quévillon. The two main roads go into the other projects, such as the Cisco Windfall and our own Romeo project, actually intercept on the project. Its first was explored in the 50s, and that first showing, the mid-rim showing, was determined then. It's since seen a total of around 24,000 meters of diamond drilling in approximately 120 holes, and there's been a lot of things identified, a series of 7 showings, the largest is the Toussaint, and then the mid-rim, as well as there's all sorts of other little showings there. So we're really happy with what we've got, and we want to grow on all the success. So we're going to start our work project shortly in July with both a surficial program identifying and targeting new potential areas to link these together, as well as drilling 5,000 meters on the project. And one of the main reasons we chose to acquire this project was, first of all, our partner in Cartier Resources. And secondly, the head grade is great. It's over 7 grams a ton as in previous kind of, old historical work. So we want to bring all this knowledge up to current regulations with the goal of working towards resource estimation on the property. Next slide, please. And these are just the general terms of the property. It's the terms that we negotiated with Cartier. Upon execution has all been completed, and we're currently working in the first year anniversary work at this time and expenditures on the property. Next slide, please. Here's a series of photos. That's Philippe Cloutier. There's some core as well as visible gold in core that Cartier drilled in 2017. Our second project, well, is our first project we went public with and we acquired in 2019 from North American Exploration, is the Romeo Gold project. It's, as you can see, it's in a very interesting area, especially Osisko Mining, which is situated to the southwest of us. The Windfall Lake gold deposit keeps growing and growing, and they've identified other satellite bodies closer to us, such as the Lynx deposit. And just recently, they announced a new showing a kilometer north of Windfall. They call it the Golden Bear. And to the south of that, in the area, you see projects such as Gladiator with Bonterra, Lac Rouleau, and many others in the area. So we find it's a very interesting area, and Osisko has identified this bank fault. And so we're going back to Romeo this summer, and we believe we found this official sign of the bank fault. So we're going to look around there and see what more we can find on the project. Next slide, please. And these again are the deal terms we signed with North American. The first ones are completed. We're currently working in, we're ahead of schedule on the work, so we're just continuing along the schedule. Next slide, please. And here's a series of photos of a recent work, some sampling of shears, samples to the lab, as well as excavation of upper and lower soil regions. And finally, our lava project is recently acquired. It's in the Belterre Gold Camp, which is about 120 kilometers southwest of Val-d'Or. It's an area of interest. It's a previous mine there in the past, the Belterre Gold Mine. Recently, Vior, a Quebec company very active throughout the province, has consolidated a very large land position and acquired the old mine. Osisko Mining is also there, like they're nearby us and other jurisdictions or other projects, and they've also acquired an equity stake in VR. So that's another area that we're happy to be in. Next slide, please. Here's some just general photos of the area. In summary, our 2021 exploration program, Hawkmoon is committed to significant expenditures on our projects as this general outline identifies.
Thank you, Tom. Capital structure is at just over 45 million issued and outstanding. We recently presented options to the board. And as far as debt goes, we don't have anything at this time for debt, so that's good. Our team ownership is currently 6,500,000 shares, or 16.8%, and fully diluted, we're just over 65 million. The majority of that is the warrants and the options that were set up in the IPO round and the 10-cent units that were sold last year. Next slide. There's a pie chart showing the breakdown of the share structure. As you can see, it's heavily retail investor oriented, and that's great for us. We have a good relationship with most of our retail investors, and we're happy for their support. Next slide. So to cover the overall investment highlights with Hawkmoon, as we had mentioned before, we have a good management team with 80 years of experience in finance, capital markets, and junior mining space. We have Thomas Clarke, who's a proven finder of mineral deposits. As I had mentioned earlier, he discovered the 1 million ounce Gladiator deposit at Cartier Resources. What you have as an investor is an opportunity with a new publicly listed company that has 3 gold exploration projects in Quebec, Canada. Our branding is very focused in Quebec, so we're not going to suddenly announce a property in the Golden Triangle or Ontario or Nevada or something like that. Those regions are great, but we chose to focus only on primarily gold in Quebec. And so it's a strong branding that we're happy to do. And we feel it's going to produce good results down the road. We'll be drilling on the Wilson property, which commences around the middle of July. We've completed our exploration targets of Wilson. Tom has a colored file featuring approximately 29 holes, a good capital structure, and close proximity to Osisko on all their projects, including their newest discovery. Continuous catalyst for Hawkmoon you'll find in 2021 and 2022. So feel free to watch. Our symbol is HM. We are currently on the Canadian Securities Exchange, CSE, and we do have a listing on the Frankfurt, with the recent announcement coming that we are going to be applying for an OTCQB listing too. Thank you for your time, everybody, and I look forward to answering questions.
Excellent. Thank you. That was phenomenal. We don't often get to have a whole team present with us, so I really appreciate that. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to stop sharing the screen. If we have something maybe that we need to go back to, Clémence, you can bring it up, but I just want to have everyone to have an opportunity to see all of you. So we're going to open it up to questions. I have a couple here. What is your cash position, and when will you be? When will be your next financing?
Okay.
And then they wanted it broken down, whether it'll be flow through or hard cash. So maybe you guys can talk a bit about what the plans are going forward.
Our current cash position is about 675,000 in hard dollars in the treasury. Our burn rate is roughly around 25,000 a month. We are currently starting a flow-through financing. We have a subscription agreement for that available at 12 cents with a full warrant at 20 cents, good for 2 years. The hard dollar financing we look to announce shortly. I'm in conversations with a local broker dealer, and we're working on the final terms of that, so it would be announced shortly. And we're looking to have all proceeds in roughly around the middle of July as drills do break into the ground. Effectively, we will be doing approximately $1 million to $1.5 million to cover all expenditures. And that way, the money that's currently in the treasury will be used for operational costs and a little bit of marketing.
Thank you. So maybe this is a question for Tom. Can the Cartier data be used in a 43-101?
I guess it can. Their data was supervised under all the modern regulations. So yeah, that's no problem with that data.
Okay, excellent. And are all the properties fully permitted?
The work is permitted, yes. We're very lucky we go through GFE, who's really good at the permits, and around La Belle-sur-Quévillon, they issue them very, very quickly. So we're lucky in that department.
Well, I guess that's to the point that Clémence brought up, that Quebec is massively mining friendly and it doesn't take any time to get permits. So that's excellent. So we have another question here from Gianni. What is the relation with Cartier Resources? He happened to miss that part.
Well, Cartier Resources, we're optioning to purchase from Cartier, but I've been friends with Philippe Cloutier, the president, for a long time, and he's also a great resource for us to, help introduce us to people that will help us as a company and as a group. And I look at it as a bit of a partnership.
Okay, great. So Branden, I know you mentioned that there's no debt. Are there any royalties?
Not at this time, no.
Okay, great. And I know this question, but we'll just ask for our audience. Are there any Indigenous issues?
No. Before beginning our work last year on Romeo, Tom and another prospector who's associated with our team went out and met with the local group, and we've got excellent rapport with them. I've had some multiple conversations over the phone, and I look to meet with the groups nearby before anything would begin on Wilson or Romeo again this summer, should they want to get together.
Okay, great. And here's a question regarding Cartier. So will you be evaluating or sorting as Cartier Resources, I'm guessing recently did, or? No?
Evaluate?
I'm not sure.
No, me neither. So maybe Jenny, if you could elaborate on that question, that'd be appreciated. Here's a great one, and I'll give that one to you, Branden. Are there any more acquisitions on the horizon?
No, as you can see, three is great. We're well covered for now. The idea is possibly with the lava property is if we can have it 43-101 compliant, we might be able to consider it as an option property down the road for another company that wants to get into Quebec. Okay,
great. So maybe, I know you mentioned there's going to be a lot of drilling, and I guess, sorry, Paul, do you want to take this one about the drill depth? Your mic, thank you.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Your drilling program, how deep are you going to go? I mean, based on the data, I guess that's Tom for you. Like, based on the data that you have and what you've seen from I'm talking specifically the Wilson property.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to stick pretty shallow to start. A lot of the hole, it's actually quite a relatively shallow deposit. So the deep, we're going to drill holes between 100 and 250 meters in depth. So most of them would be around probably 200, 150.
So using that philosophy, you're assuming that this would be an open pit operation to start with, or are you even there yet?
Well, we have to do some work to be sure, but generally speaking, these structures are relatively subvertically dipping. So you always have to keep your eye on eventually always going underground. And that's why the grade of 7 grams is so critical for us. Because if you have a structure that's horizontal, you don't really have to worry about that so much. Well, it's not worry, you don't have to be aware of that. So yeah, well, Cartier did some deep holes as well, so that really helps us. So we don't have to have that initial expense because they're a bit more expensive to do. So we can focus on bringing all the other data up to date, as well as targeting our other superficial areas we're interested in.
Another point, Tom, if you want to touch on the cost of drilling. Apparently it's probably the cheapest in Canada, or close to being the cheapest.
I'm actually surprised. From the drilling contractor point of view, all in, I was expecting, people told me anything under 110 or 120 is good. It's just under 100. I think it's about $90 a meter all in from the driller, which is pretty fantastic. So that can, plus the driller has an amazing reputation, Fulberry Feast. And they like to work with small companies, and it seems like a good fit for us as well with them.
So you seem really excited about that, Tom. I know, again, we know the answer to this, but maybe one of you could touch on the infrastructure and, how easy it is going to be for you guys to go up there this summer and to actually execute on this drilling program.
It's very easy. Both projects are easily accessible by government maintained roads. The area we're going to work at on Romeo actually has a road right through it, so it's fairly easy. Wilson as well. We're going to just we're renting apartments in La Belle-sur-Quévillon. So it's only 15 kilometers from La Belle-sur-Quévillon. So we're just going to stay in the town, work, and then even better in the town, since of all the activity with Osisko mining, ALS Labs opened a prep lab for samples in the town.
Wow.
So that also adds, reduces a lot of chain of custody issues and liability issues for the company. So it's like it's a bit of a cliche, but it's a bit of a turnkey kind of project for us.
Oh, that's
And
phenomenal.
Philip Kluche was able to put us in touch with the mayor and the town hall. We had an excellent Zoom call. We got a good relationship working with them. And then lastly, Bonterra has announced that they've set up shop in La Belle-sur-Quévillon. So we'll be rubbing shoulders with them as well. It's ideal for this summer.
So here's a question. I mean, would they be a potential, in the future, maybe taking the property or JV, or, I mean, could there be some synergies there?
For sure, yes.
Excellent. So let's continue on with some of our questions. We've touched on that. So another one regarding drilling. So with all the historical data that is available for you, are you going to be using that to plan out the drilling for this program?
Yes, we have all the data, and it's key in our planning. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
On top of that, I can add that Tom and I have discussed assaying some of the old core from the previous drilling that Cartier did. So that could be further clues to the property and what it potentially has.
Okay, and seeing that we're coming out of COVID now, and maybe this is a question for Branden and Clémence. We're going to have an opportunity, and I'm sure all the companies are feeling it, and we are as well, to start getting out there and marketing and really starting maybe to things open up to get that going again. What is the plan moving forward for you guys? Like, how do you see that playing out?
Yeah, so for sure, as soon as we can, with the government regulation, we'll do more conference, getting more in front of investor. Even if we're doing like virtual now, it's always best to have face-to-face. So that's something we're playing on.
Okay, yes, I completely agree. Are there any government grants here in Quebec that you guys would be eligible for the drilling programs?
Oh, the one key one is the mineral exploration tax credit. So we're just waiting for previous work. Once a company does work using non-flow through dollars, you get your annual financial statements, notice of assessment, all those details, and you can apply for a check from the government of Quebec, which for the 2019 program, I believe is around 38%. So you get hard dollars back. If flow through that doesn't qualify, but if you use hard dollars and you spend that money again and keep recycling it, your money goes a lot further.
Okay, excellent. And so, I mean, you guys have done work on the property before going public, correct? So that would be eligible?
That's right,
Yeah.
approximately $125,000 worth.
Okay, excellent. So we have a question here to explain the flow through and hard dollars. I guess maybe that's to retouch on the financing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Yeah.
the question means, I mean, where you're situated in Quebec, you're eligible for super flow through, I think.
Yes,
You're
that's
above
correct.
a certain parallel. So
Yeah.
that's another incentive for people to invest in your flow through issue. It's just, I think the question is, explaining the difference between the flow through and the hard dollars, and where you have to put it or what you have to do with it.
Flow through is used only for exploration usage in the province, and hard dollars, obviously you have a little more flexibility. But as I've outlaid already, we are well financed for operational costs for quite some time. what this financing that we're going to do is all for exploration use. So any investor that comes in for either hard dollar or flow through can be assured that their money is going into the ground in drilling.
Perfect. Paul, do you want to go and ask a couple of your questions here? And I think I have someone that will have a question afterwards.
I mean, how soon do you think you're going to have a 43-101? And I mean, it goes back to the question, Tom, I asked earlier about you can use data from Cartier's, previous drilling. So how soon do you think you can have the resource estimate out there?
Well, we're going to first have to drill and get the assays back, and then get all that information together, compile that with the old stuff. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. We want to make sure we do it methodically. So at this time, I can't give an exact date, but we want to do it as soon as possible. And we want to be a good, solid resource that represents the property properly. So we'll have to keep in touch about that.
No, perfect. That's what I want to hear. And while I've got you on that, how backed up are the labs? You said there's a lab that's opening up around you?
They're not too bad. I've been told they're a little slower because commodity prices have been higher, but it's, instead of maybe being 3 weeks to a month, maybe it's a month to 6 weeks. If you get a hole that's really, really fantastic and intercept, you can also pay to rush it if you want to. It costs more, but it's another option. But the prep will be done locally in La Belle sur Cameo, and then it'll be shipped to, the pulps will be shipped to Val d'Or for assays. So they're pretty good. They're a pretty big lab, actually.
No, you're so good. You're not transporting it across country and all kinds of problems like that. It's just very local. So
from experience, that never works out very well. I remember back in the day, we were using labs, 2 different labs in 3 different provinces, and it worked out okay, but it was a lot of stuff to manage.
Okay.
So I'm going to, so I don't massacre his question, Gianni, if you'd like to ask it directly, I've given you the opportunity to.
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect, thank you.
Okay, sorry if my question was not clear. I was just asking if, because Cartier Resources did in the past, and they published those results a couple of weeks ago or months, they did ore sorting on their ore, the drill cores, the recent drilling that had performed, to evaluate the quantity, because they're transporting the material from the site to eventually to a mill to process it, the material. And ore sorting is a way to reduce the quantity of material that you will be transporting. It reduces the cost even of the mill processing, because if you set a quantity of, depending on the ore grade, the grade of the ore in terms of gold, maybe everything that is below 0.3 gram per ton, you want to avoid to transport the material because there's no economics on that part. So I just wanted to see if you were open to that type of test.
Yeah,
eventually.
we're open to that. That's a little further down the road, but absolutely. I remember when I was at Bonterra at the time, Metanor Resources had the Berry pit, and they were obviously what you're saying is totally accurate. They were shipping ore from Berry to Bachelor Lake Mill, and it just wouldn't work. But yeah, obviously, sometime in the future, we'd have to. That would be part of the plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So would anyone like to ask any other questions? And if not, then I would ask Branden maybe. Oh, go ahead, Paul.
Now that COVID is winding down, I think Sophie touched on this a bit earlier. When are you going to have boots on the ground? Like, who's going to be there first to arrive on the property?
Sorry, not talking about IR, actually talking about exploration. Sorry,
No,
with different hats.
Yeah, exactly.
The goal is to be, I'm heading out, I'm driving out. I should get to Val d'Or basically at the beginning of July. So we're going to go to Romeo early July, then we're going to move to Wilson, and then the driller come right after. So we should be on the property within about a month, or 2 weeks to a month.
I guess the question is, has everything been cleared by the Quebec government for you to be on the ground starting to do the work? I mean, are COVID restrictions being lifted in that area?
I've not been told of any new restrictions. Obviously, that it's a moving situation. So far, I haven't heard of any negativity so far.
All right, well, that's good news. You'll be on the ground in July.
And also, Paul, from our investigation, we've been able to find that Quebec considers mining an essential service. So you have a lot more ability to conduct your operations without minimal issues from COVID restrictions.
And the other point being Quebec being mining friendly and the area where you are, I don't think you'll have any problem hiring staff or hiring workers.
No.
Or anything of that nature.
No. If anybody is a drone camera expert, let me know, because we were looking for someone out of KVO. Otherwise, we do have an investor who's going to drive up all the way from Toronto with his drone, and he wants to see the work being done. So that's pretty exciting. It's nice to have support like that from people that are within the company.
I could fly mine from here, but I think it's too far.
Well, if there's a golf course for you, Paul, then you might be game.
Let's talk about a golf tournament somewhere in the future with Hawkmoon.
Will do.
So gentlemen, just to touch on that point before we log off, I just want, Branden, if you could just reiterate again the flow through and then that you're doing a potential financing. And I want to throw it out there to everybody who's on today, that if there's any interest, I mean, we will follow up with you, but if there's any interest, please do feel free to message Paul or myself. And Branden, if you could touch on it, that would be great.
Yes, please. So with the flow through, like I said, we are starting that first. At this point, we're selling it for 12 cents with a full warrant at 20 cents, good for 2 years. If there was a larger group, a fund or broker dealer that wanted to take a sizable position, we could work out a special arrangement where they could get it at a price discount beyond that. I'm open to that. Obviously, time is ticking and we're going to have drills in the ground soon. So we are looking to move quickly in our financing. Regarding the hard dollars, I should have some answers on this soon, and I'll be able to announce this shortly.
Perfect. So we'll keep everyone updated. And I guess it's also important to mention, even though that, I mean, now you have Clémence here, but Branden, yourself, you will be coming to Montreal in July. And it's my understanding that, you're in conversations with a lot of the Quebec-based funds currently.
Yes.
And there is interest.
That's right. Clémence has been fantastic in setting up Zoom calls and whatnot. She contacts them originally within French. They see that this is somebody local, so it starts the conversation going. She sets up a meeting for us, and we're able to have a great Zoom call and sort of establish rapport that way. We are looking to access one fund out of Montreal, and hopefully that spurs on the others to want to participate. We're very flexible in meeting their terms, and we are looking to have a Quebec-based investment primarily, as that fits in with our main operations of the company as branding.
Good. I just want everyone on the call to know that as well. So great. If there's no more questions, we want to thank the Hawkmoon team so much for coming and joining us. It's great. I've known Clémence for quite a number of years, and Paul and I have actually known Branden and Tom when this was just an idea. So we're really happy to have you guys on again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks everyone who joined today on the call. Appreciate it. If you would like to meet Branden and discuss this like one-on-one, depending on the restrictions, depending on everything, how it unfolds, Branden's going to be here mid-July. So by then we should have a better picture of what's going on. Maybe we can set up some meetings for somebody. So
yes,
maybe even on the golf course, Paul. There you go.
Exactly. That's right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.